So, hey, Steve Araujo here. We're doing a pretty quick, casual, impromptu Skype interview with my good friend, Andrew Sheron. Amazing bass player and actually an old student of mine for a little while, so that's it's pretty cool. Anyways, he's in New York. I'm in California, so it's good to talk to him all the time. Anytime he's out here, we try to at least kind of hang, and sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But so what's up? What's new in New York, man?
Not much. The scene's good. The scene's good. There's a lot of work to be done if you're a bass player in New York, evidently.
Cool.
So still kind of making my way. I'm weaseling my way into the scene, but it's good. It's good. The big city is different than the California scene that I was used to when I was starting.
Well, I mean, you started playing bass, and then you quickly, you went to Berklee of Boston.
Yeah.
I mean, you started playing, and boom, you went to Berklee. And how was that scene? Was that that experience?
Yeah, it's a pretty hefty story, but it was good. The cool thing about Berklee is that a lot of like-minded people are all in the same place. I just have a lot to say regarding that. It's a long story.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was a good experience. It was a lot of learning, and I got to study with Matt Garrison and Lincoln Goins at the school, so that was really, really good.
Two of the most amazing. Well, one, Matt Garrison, amazing player, but innovator, and then Lincoln Goins, master of everything, especially the Latin stuff. He's pretty ridiculous. So that's cool. Well, how I know it's a long story and stuff, but in a synopsis, was it? Did it make you grow quick? Did it make you grow up fast as a player? Just kind of propel you being in that environment, or?
Sure. I mean, my entrance into the music world was pretty quick. Anyway, like I started, like you said, started playing, and then a year later I auditioned to Berklee, and that was that. So my road has been a quick one, no matter how you look at it. But Berklee was definitely part of what pushed me to go the direction I did. And like I said, the people. There's a lot of people there that are all kind of doing the same thing. It was nice to leave. I'm from Southern California, and there aren't a ton of like-minded jazz bass player musicians here, and there were a ton at Berklee. Just everyone knew who Victor Wooten was, and everyone knew who even Israel Crosby was, and the guys that I was studying, the guys that I was really looking up to, that no one really could talk to about in my high school, in my high school band.
Yeah.
Everyone knew their names.
That's good. And then, well, Kenwood Dennard. I mean, you played with. So tell us about that. That's amazing.
Yeah, Kenwood Dennard. What an amazing guy. He's amazing. He's a crazy guy, and I love the guy. He's great. He's a faculty member at Berklee. Okay. He teaches drums, and at one point, I signed up to do the James Brown ensemble with him.
Okay.
Because he loves old school funk, and that's one type of music that I didn't really get to play much of, but that I love. So I signed up to do the James Brown ensemble, and during that whole time with Kenwood directing that band, he said that he liked my sound and asked if I wanted to be a part of this Jaco Pastorius tribute that he was putting on at a Boston club called the Regatta Bar.
Okay.
So I rehearsed basically anytime that he brought in pro guys to do any rehearsals for this gig, I was the bass player.
Oh,
So,
wow.
and I hadn't really played much of Jaco's music, to be honest. I played Portrait of Tracy, and maybe a little bit of like
Teen Town, right? You were working on Teen Town a little bit.
Yeah, I mean like the first phrase.
Okay.
Didn't-
That's a study in itself, man. The first 4 bars when he comes in is yeah.
But if you ask me what chords Teen Town was when I was studying that line, I would be totally at a loss.
Got it.
So I mean, like, I just really didn't know it. I didn't study it. And Kenwood, when he asked me to do that, really forced me to get down and dirty with Jaco.
Cool.
And man, I mean you know, and everyone else knows.
Yeah.
He's the cat.
He changed. And the Kenwood experience, I mean, was you played with him? You did a few gigs with him, or okay.
Yeah. So as time went on, rehearsing with that band, with the Jaco Pastorius tribute band, that was like the Boston guys were slightly different than the New York guys. So I did 2 sets. It was like Rob Sheps and Eli Newberger on tuba and Phil Wilson on trombone. He's one of the biggest Berklee professors, and Mark White on guitar, and just great players, but
Cool.
kind of a different crew. And then I was going to play the second set of the 2-set tribute. And through one happening or another, the second set got canceled by the Regatta Bar, and that was a bummer.
Oh man.
And then right after that, he booked the Iridium stint.
Okay.
Which is like 4 or 5 days at the Iridium,
Oh,
and
man.
he said, I'm sorry that you didn't get to play last time. You should play on this one though.
Nice.
So that was really cool. Really great guy. T.M. Stevens, Victor Bailey.
Really?
Gil Goldstein, Alex Foster. Yeah.
They were all there?
All these guys were playing in this band.
Wow.
Miles Evans, Gil Evans' son.
Okay.
And the list goes on. Tim Wynette, trumpet, and Joe Siniguli, another young bass player, killer guy.
So how did you, or obviously there were some nerves, but how did you cope with it? Did you find yourself having to, or were you just so focused that you were in that flow that everything else, I mean, obviously you're going to be nervous, but you were so concentrated in that task at hand that nothing else really mattered. It was just move forward. I don't know, how'd you handle it?
Well, I think I just handled it. Like I just kind of did it.
Okay.
But I think the most nerve-wracking experience was actually like the day before the gig. We did a rehearsal, and I went up to play my thing, which was like me, Kenwood, Alex Foster, Gil Goldstein, and this singer named Gracie Fox.
Okay.
Finnegan Fox. And so we were going to do Goodbye Pork Pie Hat, the Joni Mitchell version.
Okay. Mingus, on Mingus, yeah.
Yeah. On fretless. So I was going to be doing some fretless work, which I hadn't really done too much of at school also. So I'm starting to really heavily get into the fretless. So first of all, I'm just starting to get into Jaco's music. I'm starting to get into the fretless. And now Victor Bailey and Gil Goldstein are sitting across the room looking at me, watching me play this music. And I'm just kind of like, so Gil throws up a chart. I knew my song, okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. But he threw up a chart, and I'm trying to remember Forgotten Love.
Okay.
Which is a little known Jaco.
No, yeah.
But it's gorgeous. So he puts this down, his arrangement of it, and Gil is an incredible arranger.
Yeah.
And there's no bass part. It's just a piano part. So I'm sight reading a piano part.
Left hand. You're sight reading the left hand piano part.
Yeah, left hand piano part. And I'm just kind of like, just doing my best. And at one point, he was just kind of like, read the bass part. And I kind of went, what am I supposed to do here?
Yeah.
And that was the most nerve-wracking experience. But
Wow.
it was being put on the spot by the older guys, the guys that I have a ton of respect for.
From that, I mean, you moved to New York, and what are you doing now? I mean, I know you're still playing bass. You're working on a CD. Tell us about that.
Well, my CD is my solo stuff. It's not bass music though.
Okay.
It's my songs. I write songs with lyrics. I actually play a few other instruments besides bass, and so this is giving me an opportunity to sort of explore that a little bit more. And it's kind of an eclectic record, but it sort of tells the story of my college times and,
All right.
and a little bit about me and this relationship I had with this girl that kind of fell apart and all sorts of stuff like that.
Now, and most of the music that is going to be on the CD was written in your Berklee days, or are you doing more writing now, or?
A little bit during Berklee.
Okay.
Most of it the summer I graduated.
Okay.
Before I moved to New York.
Okay.
Before I moved to New York, a lot of the material was written then.
Okay. And what are you doing now? I know you're working at a studio. Tell us about that. What studio is it?
Yeah, it's a studio on the Lower East Side of Manhattan called Flux Studios.
FLUX?
FLUX.
Okay.
FluxStudios.net.
Cool. Yeah, yeah. Very cool. Now, when you're talking recording platform, what are you comfortable on? Your Mac? Are you a Pro Tools guy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very
Yeah,
cool.
well, Pro Tools is my main axe, but I know Logic, Reason.
Okay.
Yeah, you should. If you ever get into that stuff, you should know a little bit of everything, just so that if someone gives you a session in Logic, that you could migrate it to Pro Tools if you really need to, or anything like that. You should kind of know.
No, I totally agree.
So there's this piece that I played the first night of Jacko Fest. It's
Okay.
called While She Slept. It goes. Yeah, that's the start anyway.
Okay.
But what happened with this song is that I wrote it on piano, and then it was just like me messing around on piano, and then I eventually started trying to figure out if it would work on bass, and because a lot of the voicings are 4-note voicings,
Okay.
but spacing of them is really strange. So a lot of the voices work like this one.
Okay.
That works, so I just kind of go all octaves.
Okay.
But at some point, like I would go, I did. There's that. And that I couldn't play positionally because it'd have to be like.
Okay.
And that's really difficult to play on 4-string bass. I might be able to pull it off on 5, but I don't own one. So I started experimenting with the artificial harmonics.
Oh, cool.
And where I went with that kind of became sort of this modular technique that is applicable in different other settings like that. But a lot of like sweeps.
Okay. Yeah.
And positional ways of playing multiple things at the same time. So you could play like a scale in one position on the highest string without moving your left hand. So you basically want to play 4 notes.
Do it again, one more time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Was all false harmonics. Cool.
Right.
Got
so
it.
That enables my right hand to do stuff like I can move my right hand around and like find notes that weren't really there in that position before. Like I can do.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
And I don't even have to move my left hand.
That's rad. Nice.
So it kind of opens up positional stuff for guys that are looking to kind of broaden the range of 4-string bass.
No, that's awesome, man. That's very cool. I like that. Just that one position with your left hand, fretting hand, major scale, and moving the false harmonics with your right. So and your technique with the right hand false harmonics is like the Steve Bailey, right? You do like Steve Bailey's technique?
Not quite.
Okay.
Yes, I use my first finger and my ring finger to pluck.
Okay.
But I pluck up and down with my right hand.
Got it. Okay.
because I play mandolin and other string instruments that I use a plectrum with.
Okay.
And my picking hand developed because of that, and so I basically just applied all of that picking technique to the.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool.
Like pretty quick harmonic lines, as if I was playing a picked instrument.
Got it.
And like, you know, even sweeps and.
Little 16-note trip. Da, 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 da. Oh, that's cool, man.
And that's because I'm plucking up and down, kind of like the brunt of my fingernail.
Okay.
Like,
That is.
Pretending that this whole unit, this whole unit here is just a pick.
Tell us about the bass that you're playing. That's the Warrior. You've had that for a long time, right? The Warrior?
Yeah. This was like the first nice bass that I ever bought.
Okay.
And it's held up. You know, I've beaten the crap out of it. I went through school with it, and it's still holding its own.
Cool.